What is going on, guys? We are back with another video, and this is not really a tutorial, but more or less an experience type video where I've done a couple of these fantasy drafts so far. I've taken a look at when players go and whatnot. You know that Bengal and I have a fantasy football, well, not fantasy football, but fantasy franchise league, and we have a few plans for it coming down the stretch in Madden. And of course, a lot of people do ask about fantasy drafts on who to take, or what team is the best, do you think, or whatnot. Obviously, you want to go with young players. Everyone's league will vary, of course. It depends on what pick you have, what your plans are for the league. Are you doing a 32-man league? If you're doing a 32-man league, this guide kind of goes out the window for you because it's going to vary big time. I'm going to say that most people aren't going to be doing one. Of course, first things first, you got to be in a custom roster. I don't know why they did that, but you have to be in a custom roster, and you got to go fantasy. Coach doesn't matter. These settings don't matter. I always like to, tweak them accordingly. Always have pre-existing injuries off because it's not really fair to draft someone that's injured, not on your own power. Of course, everyone's league's going to vary. Starting draft, it also comes down, are you doing only a 1 year? Obviously, well, at least I would think if you're doing a fantasy draft, you're probably going for the long haul, because you want those young players. You want to see what you can do. So here I like to have a pick around 18. I don't think you can actually fix the pick this year. I remember, no, maybe that is NBA. I thought you could do a fixed draft. That would make no sense. But start your fantasy draft, of course. I'm hoping for about a 15 or 16. I don't like the top 5 pick. I don't like quarterbacks that high. 14, that's pretty close to where I'd want to go. Pretty common stuff here. You're going to see quarterbacks go within the top 10. About 8 quarterbacks were taken in the top 10. So, of course, Malcolm Butler at 9. That's a pretty high pick for him. Usually he does go around there, though. Marcus Peters at 11. Mack at 10. Vaughn at 12. Very expected results there. Now, you're, of course, looking at this. Julio Jones about 18. So, if you want a guy like Julio, you obviously have to take him here. Running backs, you don't have to take now. I prefer a rookie anyways. You can see, you got really nice names. You got Le'Veon Bell. You got David Johnson, not DeMarco. I mean, DeMarco's all right, but Ezekiel Elliott. But the thing is, you've got all the other guys, too. You got development. You can scout by development trait this year, look at by development. Devontae Freeman, superstar. But the big names, Leonard Fournette, superstar. Christian McCaffrey, superstar. Dalvin, superstar. If you start those guys, they're probably going to go to about an 88, 89 after year 1. A lot of these guys also have quick. So, I mean, it's not that running back goes this high anyways. I'm just showing you guys the position. So if you're worried about it, you can always go with late choices. This is a little bit of a tough choice. It really comes down to what type of player you are. I wouldn't worry about the quarterback position. If you want a QB, you pretty much have to go within the top 10 or near to mid, like early to mid, late second round. But, I mean, you're going to be very lucky to land someone that's, Marcus Mariota, Winston type. Usually you just wait for the rookies later on. Defense is usually where I like to go in the first round. But, as you can see here, I mean, unless you're going to go cornerback, which is a good pick. Cornerback goes, it kind of varies, but they usually go before the 30th pick. You usually get Slay around the 30 spot, which is nice. But, of course, we're not going to have a pick there. Kuechly, I'm kind of going over this from our pick, but also just in general. Kuechly usually goes about 20 or earlier. No, he goes a little bit earlier than that. I think he goes around 14 to 20. Same with Bobby Wagner, Dante Hightower, Mosley. All of them are going to be around there. Well, once again, looking just like running back position. You look at, the rest of it. You have Benedict, who's 84 overall with quick. Jordan Hicks, who's 85 with quick. Some of these guys you can get late. Like Jalen Smith, you can get around probably around 10 or 15. And these guys can develop really nicely because they're young. Middle linebacker, if you're at least user, you're decent as a user, it's a good position to wait on. I think if you're not going to go a cornerback in your first round, it almost has to be your second round pick. So I think what we will do here is it's up to you once again. Julio Jones or Odell Beckham for me. I mean, you can go Antonio, but I mean, he's 29. Personally, best choice I think is Odell Beckham, first pick, 14. I'd like to take him around 18 instead. But, I mean, what can you do? And here, I'm not exactly sure. Like I said, mid to early first, or mid to early second for the quarterbacks. Winston to the Bears and Mariota back to the Titans. Clowney back on the Texans. You can see Xavier Rhodes. That one hurts. A couple of the cornerbacks slipped in the second round. You got Rhodes there. Boye, I suppose. Sherman and Norman, not worth it. Slay, he slips a bit longer, usually goes 30, but there he goes 34. Wagner, 31. Bosa right after Watt at 27. You see, good pick for us to skip on him. Julio Jones goes 23, but Odell Beckham is almost always the first wide receiver taken. I say if we didn't take him, he would have been taken around 17. So, I mean, we made a good pick there. Donald at 15. Just kind of showing you guys what you can expect. And like you can see there, Jalen Ramsey was the third cornerback taken. Pick 19, round 2. Of course, you could have waited for A.J. Green, but we would have missed him by a pick. Le'Veon Bell, I think, goes around round 3. But you just can't, you can't make that selection. Cornerback is where I'd like to go here. So we're going to take a look at cornerback. Janoris is usually here. That's expected. You can see like the cornerbacks already gone. Obviously, you can go rookies. But a guy like Janoris would be nice. He's 28, though. That's a rough age. It really is. Read and react. You see what you got left. You can always draft a corner or a quarterback early on in the league. Second-round pick. I mean, you have wide receiver there, but I usually wait till the third. If you really, really want a tight end, you can go here. But once again, you can wait. You got development. Go by development again. You wait till later. You can get a guy like O.J. Howard, probably around maybe 5-ish. So this is, like I said, I like to go pass rush here. Always depends on what scheme you're running. Hunter's a great pick. You could probably develop him as an outside linebacker if you really wanted to. But it's going to be tough. It's between 3 guys for me right now. It's between Vernon, Vic Beasley, who's a really nice pick. I like Vic Beasley a lot. Or Danielle Hunter. And for me, Hunter probably is the best. You can see 87 speed. Looking so good there. I think if you look stats and age, Hunter is clearly the best option. So with our second-round pick, we will be taking Hunter. Moving on to the next round, you can see Janoris went a little bit ago. Allen Robinson, Dez Bryant. So Bell goes 68. David Johnson probably wasn't too far behind, or maybe even before him. Elliott was the first running back taken. Definitely an obvious choice there. Superstar Dev at, what 22? Myles Garrett at 61. Round 3, going to look at the cornerback position. Like I said, you got to go early with these picks. And we're looking right now, and there's really not a guy. I mean, the closest one was Casey Hayward, but he's 27. I mean, 27's not bad for the cornerback position, but that's not a pick that I'm willing to take. Once again, pass rush is something I'm looking for. Vic Beasley is there. So I'm thinking Vic Beasley might be the move. He's obviously going to be gone after this pick. Solon Thomas. You mean you can go rookies? It's up to you. It really comes down to what your preference is. Pass rush is rather hard to get. So a guy like Vic Beasley, I think that's the move. You have, I mean, assuming you're running, any sort of scheme really, you have your outside pass rushers done. Solomon Thomas goes right there. That's a little rough. Now this is usually where I like to take my wide receiver. You see a couple of guys. Diggs is gone. Eifert to the Chargers. Who else? Brandon Cooks. But from my knowledge, we should still have a guy like Sammy Watkins there, who's quick dev and he's young. Once again, still got amazing players. Like Jordan Howard, I would rather take over every single back that was taken except for maybe Zeke. Wide receiver, though, like I mentioned, you got Sammy Watkins, top of the board there, 24 years of age. What about Devontae, though? 24 years of age as well. I'd probably take I'd take Sammy a little bit over Devontae, though. Cornerback is also an issue, but once again, if you don't get a corner within the first 3 picks, you pretty much have to assume that you're done. Like, your cornerback position isn't going to be good. I mean, you look at the top corner here, DRC's 31. It's just not going to happen. Jamar Taylor, but I mean, these guys are in the 80s. You're not going to take an 80 overall cornerback when you've got 90-plus safeties. You got 90-ish linebacker core. It's just not worth it. Another huge tip with middle linebacker specifically is don't draft high, because you could see, not Kawamisi, you could see the left outside spot. Got a middle linebacker there playing left outside linebacker for a 4-3. Anthony Barr, another guy. Huge pick here. If we go for Anthony Barr, that would be amazing. But I think wide receiver is the most important position here. You just don't take corner unless it's the top 2. I would say top 3, but honestly, it is top 2. And of course, I think best option here is Sammy Watkins. So now we have 2 wide receivers, 2 different types of bodies as well. Zach Brown goes. Bridgewater goes. So here, this is where you're going to grab your quarterback if you want one. If you want one, Byron Jones goes. That's a great pick because he can play corner. That's a really good tip, actually. Did not even think about it. The Rams land a really good player. 123. Don't know if that's where he's going to go every single time. Safety is a really hard position to peg. But 123, we've seen a safety that could have played corner for us. He has like 80 in the coverage stats for both stats. This is where you're going to want to take your quarterback, though, if you want one of the youngsters. They're not going to be there for the next pick. Obviously, it's going to vary because you could have 32 and 33 and back-to-back picks there. Just for the sake of the video, I'm not going to take a quarterback. I don't want to reach on accident. I know you got Benedict McKinney. You got, Jordan Hicks. You got Shazier. But you also have a 6'5", 255-pound, quick development trait, 88 speed linebacker. Got to take him. And at the end of the day, you can put him at pass rush. So it comes down to where you went with your picks. Like I said, you're going to need your quarterbacks because they're gone. Where was our pick? Our pick was... Jalen Collins goes. That's a decent pick. Where the hell were we? There we go. 142. And at 150, which is, obviously our pick's not there, Wentz goes. And then you got at 162, Trubisky, 64, Watson, 65, Mahomes. Tyreek Hill goes at 167. That's an interesting one. Take a look at quarterback, see if it's still there. So, once again, kind of glad we did pass because you still have a Deshaun Kaiser, a Jared Goff. I would usually go with one of those guys. Safety, I don't bother with because there's a lot of good steals. Look at, I guess we'll look by age, I suppose. You got Jabril Peppers late. Keanu Neal is nice, though. Carl Joseph's a little late. Jamal Adams is a huge pick. He'll probably go pretty soon, though. It really comes down to what you want. Ryan Shazier here is a hard to pass for me. But once again, going back to the age, you can see some really fast talent. Jared Davis, young, 85. And he's also a rookie, so you can win the awards. You got so many fast players here that you just can't go with them. We only took Anthony Barr because of how versatile he is and how big he is. You can't get 6'5" with that speed in the game unless you get an Anthony Barr. But I suppose just for the sake of the video, I wasn't going to do it, but Deshaun Kaiser is so nice in this game. 21 years of age. The perfect draft so far in my book. We have another pick. Leonard Fournette goes here, which is really bad because I was about to take the running back position. It's tough. It's really tough because you can see Jordan Howard went. You still got Melvin Gordon, but I think here the best choice clearly is Christian McCaffrey, superstar dev. He goes to a 90 every year after the first year. We've seen a couple of other running backs go, I believe. Obviously, even if we don't see a running back gone, clearly he would have been gone. Miles Jack at 223, that's an interesting one. Todd Gurley at 216, 214 Ajayi, 213 Shazier, that's a nice one. So there's some pretty perfect selections from us, as of course McCaffrey would have been gone, and Leonard Fournette and McCaffrey are very similar players. They go almost the same time as each other. I'd probably rather have, Fournette a little bit more, but can't go wrong with either guy. They're both young with superstar. Of course, we could have waited, though. We definitely could have waited for a guy like Dalvin Cook, also superstar dev. But for me personally, it's about the age, and you get 1 year younger. I know I go a little too far with it. I go, oh man, 1 year's of difference, that's worth it. Which it is. It really is. Because at the end of the day, the longer it takes for them to regress, the better it is. Plus, the older they get, the slower they get for XP. This is a tough pick. This is a really tough pick. You got O.J. Howard. This is the one position, I'll be 100% honest with you guys, I have no clue when someone goes. So I usually just take best available when I decide it's time. Of course, Keanu Neal goes. Cornerback, you got Ross Cockrell, 26 years old. There's not a lot of great corners here. There just isn't. Demarius Randall, is he quick? He's normal. Damn. Guys like Danny Shelton would be nice. Sharif Floyd's a little bit of a waste. You don't need DT, but I'm just showing this for anyone, basically, because obviously we're not going to be running the same schemes as each other. So just for that sake, we're going to go with Danny Shelton here. Great pick. Every draft varies, so I have to kind of base it off of that. Here we're looking at the trend. it looks as if wide receiver is going to be going. So we're going to take a look. Don't need a third wide receiver. I mean, you could see we already drafted 2 wide receivers. So we're fine. We really don't need it. But obviously, if you want one of those really cool players, where is he? Where's my dude? Corey Davis. He's about to go. If you want a Corey Davis, he's about to go. You gotta be wary of that. Of course, one of the best players you'd want to get, if I can find him, John Ross. Absolutely amazing. Of course, with other users in the league, it's going to be hard to pull that off. Running back starting to die down a bit. But here, I think you make the reach of a pick. And, oh, actually, he's gone. O.J. Howard has left the building. But I don't think you can pass on John Ross. I know he's only normal compared to the other guys, but he's way too good to pass up on for me. And, of course, this is where we lose a lot of our ground. Bud Dupree goes at 301. Great pick there. Cornerback is disappearing here. The thing that's nice about the draft this year, obviously, everyone has their priorities, but for me, the best part is that linemen, they go outside first. You can see because tackles are, they are more important. A lot of the youth has gone. You got Ronnie, who's down from superstar to normal this year. But you look at the guards, so many amazing guards. My move is usually to go guards, but I wait. Offensive line is nice, but it's so easy to draft. So at the end of the day, if I'm stuck with a shit offensive line, I'm all right. I'm all right with it. Here, you can't pass up the talent. David Njoku, 21 years old, quick dev. Taking him there. Guard could be going soon, but I think it goes down by the first guy usually gets taken, and then they're gone. Like, everything's fine for now. Nobody comes back to the well for a while. This is where I would probably like to take my first cornerback. At the same time, you do have guys like Gary and Connolly, the must-have pick. If I can find them without having to change it. I might have to. Dory Jackson, of course. Quick dev at 21 years old. Gonna wait again, I think. This is a tough pick, too. You got Dayon Buchanan here. Great safety player for us. I'm gonna take him, I think. I think we're gonna take Dayon, play him at strong. Very good pick, usually, to play at strong safety. Defensive line starting to go. Luckily, we settled most of that. If you're running a 3-4, you could put Danny Shelton at defensive end. Get him more playing time. Kenny Clark's a really good pick because he's only 21. So glad to have him. Tack McKinley is there. Here inside is not an easy position to fill. So luckily we did get one of those DTs. DTs kind of like the guards position. This is usually where you're going to go for your inside guys this late. DeForest Buckner. So this is a tough pick because you got, Buckner. He was pretty decent last year. But I would probably go with Malik McDowell. Quick, 21 years old, rookie. Got to go with him there. Great pick there for the inside for us. And, of course, right after we took him, somewhere around there, right after we took him, Buckner goes. Some of the offensive linemen are starting to go. We don't have a corner yet. But this is, once again, at this point, you're pretty much stuck with the rookies. Which, I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just you wish you could have someone a little bit more proven. And here, I don't know how many linebackers we have. We have Dayon who's going to play safety for us, most likely. And then we have the pass rusher. So we really don't have a legit middle linebacker. This is where not age. This is where I like to go with the best development. Preston Brown is quick. Of course, best choice, clear as day. Jalen Smith, quick dev, 22 years old, decent speed. You can see Dante Fowler at 4.29. That would be one of my last picks for a 4.3 if you didn't have your pass rush. Taco goes as well. A couple of corners. Lattimore goes. But it's funny is Lattimore, you would think he would be, but Lattimore is really not the top choice for cornerback at all. Like, he's young, but Gary and Connolly is nice. I like Gary and Connolly a lot. And then, of course, Adoree Jackson is my #1 pick. We're going to go with Adoree Jackson just so we don't miss him. Quick dev. The development trades are a huge factor for people drafting. You got Humphrey going, or Mumphrey going, not Humphrey. Kenny Clark goes. That would have been one of my last picks. I mean, you have actual tackles and whatnot still left over, but they're getting on the old side. Al Collins, how young is he? Decent. What about Ramczyk? Quick as well. But, of course, your best value is going to be guard. You have a couple of them here. You got Larry Warford. He's a little bit down. I like his stats a lot. Forrest Lamb didn't get quick. That is a shocker. That is a big shocker. Big one, you go with one of these two guys, David DeCastro or Zeitler. It would appear to me that David DeCastro is better, so we're going to go DeCastro. Get your offensive line in check just a little bit. Was that Ty Montgomery that just went? Interesting. You can get a guy like Ty that late, and sadly for us, Zeitler goes right there, which is really unfortunate because that was going to be our second straight pick. You still got Brandon Brooks, who is the better of the two linemen, but of course he is a year older. You got Sheriff. And this is usually where I like to take my next middle linebacker, or really my second to last middle linebacker. It's tough, though, because there's a couple of good choices. It comes down to how confident you also are at winning rookie awards, because if you think you're going to win the award, I'm 100% going Jared Davis or Hassan Reddick. Darren Lee's nice, too, though. He's fast. Obviously, if you couldn't tell the trend so far, it is going with the rookies late. Here, it's a tough choice. I preferably would go with Reddick. Jared Davis is nice. He's got a little bit more hip power. But Reddick, man, he's got the speed. He's a year older, but that speed at linebacker is hard to go by. You got the excel is nice, but the agility is a little rough. So Hassan Reddick, number 2 middle linebacker for us. This is usually where I'll take a guy like Obi. I know he's 23. He's a little old for a rookie, but Obi's nice there. And you can see most of the line is starting to go. So this is where you have to make an executive decision. Do you want corner? Do you want safety? Or do you want offensive line? Corner, it should still be there. It should. Yeah, you can see you got Sidney Jones, Quincy Wilson. Okay, so we don't have that. But one of the best picks. I know I'm a Packer fan, so I'm probably a little biased. But I think Josh Jones, at least in Madden, is amazing. Look at him, 6'2", 22 years old, 75 overall, 92 speed, 89 hip power, 90 excel. He's an amazing player to build around. I'm taking him, clear as day. I love offensive line and whatnot, but you got to take a guy like Josh Jones. So, of course, there's always plenty of wells to tap into. Marquise Pouncey at the center spot is that well for us. A lot of running backs going. Joe Mixon. Of course, if you want a backup running back, this is clearly the round for you. Round 20 is the backup running back round. We might have missed, though. Not going to lie, we might have. And it would appear that we did. J.C. Tretter's nice, 26 years old with quick. But you also have 26-year-old Corey Linsley with quick. Really comes down to who's got the better speed now, doesn't it? The strength's a little lower, but J.C. Tretter is the better option. J.C. Tretter is better. So going back to cornerback, this is usually where you're going to take your second one if you waited like I did, which, let me be honest, we're not in a good shape here. We're not in a good boat, lads. We're really not. Of course, Sidney Jones is clearly the best option here, so we now have our number 2 cornerback, which is all right. I mean, you can move anyone basically to any position. So Ryan Kelly there. Oh, we did get to Castro, actually. Never mind. So we're actually okay. All we need is one guy. That's all we need. If there's no one superstar, I usually just wait. Just superstar. Quick or superstar. Mike Pouncey is there. Devs anymore. You can see they're really not great. This is usually where I would go with a guy like Bodine. Super, super strong. And strength obviously is a tough position or tough stat to get up. But like I said, since we're this week, and it's ironic as hell because we have 3 centers, I usually wait for the actual center position. I'll wait and I'll just be like, you know what? Center's an easy position to fill and it's not that important. I'm not quite sure when the kickers go, but just so we don't miss, we're going to take the best kicker in the league, Justin Tucker. I don't think they did, but at the same time, I don't think any of the kickers are nearly as good as Tucker. So if someone is going to take a kicker, it would have been there. Obviously, no one's going to be taking a 30-some-year-old kicker that's not superstar. Tucker is clearly the best choice by far. Here, you're pretty much just going for backups. So if a guy like Evan Ingram's still there, I don't expect him to be. But if he is, even if he's the reach pick, I'm taking him. You can't pass up on 90 speed at the tight end position, especially if you're playing in a league where it is rather legit and there's rules. You're not going to be able to move a wide receiver there, but you can't argue when Evan Ingram's physically a tight end. So now going back to the corners where we're looking rough. You've got Kendall Fuller. This is a tough pick. Personally, as a Packer fan, I'm of course going to be going with Kevin King. He's 6'3", 200 pounds with 91 speed. Fullback, I mean, it's not an important position. You don't need a fullback, but just for the sake of filling a full team up, you can't go wrong with the value there. Okay, Jesus. We actually saw a fullback go, so Round 20, late 26, early 27 is when you're going to see the fullbacks go. At this point, I guess that's my best advice. Whether you're playing in a especially if you're playing in a user league, actually, if you think it's a reach, but it's this late in the draft, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If the player is that good, you're just going to take them. Fabian's nice, though. I mean, his man is bad, but he's so fast. I think we'd be taking Fabian. We have 4 corners. It's all up to you now at this point. You can keep going on and keep drafting. I'm almost done, though, of course, because we drafted the main positions. I'll make sure that we have one of each position, though, just so you guys aren't like, but what about that? What about this? Like, the best thing you're looking at when you're this late in the draft, round 28-ish, is you're looking at the linebacker spot. As you can see, we've got 2 guys here with the youth. I would probably go with Raekwon, though. He's very young, 20 years old. But I know of a guy that is very good for his size. He's 27, but Teamu, 348. You're not going for the super skilled player there. You're just going for the big body in the 3-4. It's one of the, I mean, it's not an easy position to play, but really you just need to be big, have decent stamina. Teamu's big, so that's all that matters there. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You're going for the youngest and best at that youth. Curtis Samuel is a nice pick. You got Juju Smith-Schuster. Where is my guy, though? Where is he? Damn, he is. I was going to go for a wide receiver. What is his name? Was it Godwin? He has quick dev. But, I mean, you've got plenty of choices. Zay Jones is a nice pick. He's kind of fun as well. I would ridiculously go with him. I don't know why I said ridiculous. Lee, Mac Hollins. I mean, any of the rookies, really. So, I suppose, just for the sake of the video, wait, what's the difference in age? It's a good slot. We don't really need the short guys anymore. Zay Jones is clearly the best pick for me. I like him a lot. Like, that is a fun player to get. And here we're going to take our 5th and final cornerback, Tease Tabor. You can go for your 6 if you want. It's up to you. Maybe injuries are a problem. Like I said, you can go with anyone you want, but we're going to take the Pouncey brothers. Quick dev, 28 years old. Hecker, 71 speed. What about King? King's got to be like 85, right? At least 85, exactly. So Marquette King, super stud there, 28. So with round 34, honestly, I'd say you should be done drafting around 30, round 30 flat. We'll take a look at our team. Let's mix it up, and I'll show you what our team looks like. Definitely one of my better fantasy drafts. I think we did well. Put a good show on for you guys. Hopefully this video did help you. If it did, leave a like on it. Maybe share it. Do whatever you need to. Or comment with what pick you think I should have taken instead. Maybe Vic Beasley would have been different, but the cornerbacks there weren't really great. We maybe had Janoris, but at the same time, 28 years of age. So this is the team that we have. I mean, I don't know if I would do anything with this roster since I have plenty of franchises, but I really do like it. And then the defense, pretty proud of the defense as well. Jalen Smith is your number 2 because he's got quick dev. Anthony Barr, that's a wild card pick. You could have had anyone you wanted, but for me, a 6'5" guy like Barr at middle linebacker, especially in a user league, that is unfair. But yeah, I mean, this is my guide on how to do a fantasy draft. I think the guide turned out well, and I think the team turned out really well, because normally I would have a little bit better of an offensive line, but offensive line, very easy to draft. That's really where it comes down to. Corner, yeah, I mean, I've said it plenty of times, but it's just a position you're not going to have good ones at if you're not going to draft high. So this is my guide. It took me an hour or 2 hours to make, which is all right. It's fine. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it helped you out mainly. I mean, for anyone that likes to watch fantasy drafts, this is good enough for me if I'm watching. But if you're actually trying to learn things about the fantasy draft, I think we went through a lot of the stuff. We showed you, when most players went. We drafted, other than Justin Tucker, we drafted everyone just where they needed to be. We didn't reach on anyone. Kaiser, we took him right before the rest of the quarters went. When we were going to go for a quarterback, when we were going to go, Trubisky or Wentz or whatnot, I said that they were about to go, and they did. It's just, I'd rather wait a couple rounds, get Kaiser, than to take the guy that was at the position. What was it, round 3 maybe? It was really high up there. Maybe round 4, I don't know. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, if you have any other videos you'd like to see from me, tip videos or just what ifs or, just anything on the channel, like I want you to do more Ultimate Team, whatever it may be, let me know in the comment section. hopefully you come back for next video. I already said that. But until next video, see ya.